All right. We are live on Facebook and live on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, Instagram. So people who are watching me on Instagram, we got the
Wait, time out. This is my Instagram.
Oh,
wait.
Why?
Bye.
Wrong Instagram.
Hold on, wrong one.
Well, hopefully that people could see the screen today. The board should be good.
Okay.
Yeah, in the gyms.
Now you got it.
There you go.
Okay.
Alrighty. So now we're good. Now we got Facebook. We got Instagram.
There we go.
All right. What's up, Instagram? Facebook. Today we're going to talk about our 5 strategies to not gain weight during the holiday season. So we came to you guys with 2 other videos, 2 other days where we talked about, setting goals and having the importance of setting goals and making sure that you're, doing this for the long haul, not just doing it for, the holidays, right? Yesterday we talked about the types of workouts that you should be doing in order to actually get there. So today we're going to actually give you 5 strategies that you can actually take away and apply tomorrow on Thanksgiving to utilize so you don't gain any weight and you can kind of shed that holiday weight. But I'm going to preference this with a warning, okay? So we're going to start this off with a warning. The warning is these strategies that I'm going to give you today are just for the holidays. This is not something that you do all the time. This is not how you live your life. These strategies should not be used for other things, just on a regular basis. You have to use them on special occasions. This is not a good way to diet. It's not an optimal way to do things, but it's a good strategy to keeping that weight off. There's comments there, so I don't know if you're going to read them. You want to read them?
Yeah, no, someone just said, is Pete holding the cue cards?
I know Pete's not here today. He's getting ready to eat. So let's go into strategy number 1. So the first strategy, something that you should be doing all the time, is you want to make sure that you're keeping track of your calories. And the reason why that's important, obviously, it's kind of like driving a car across country. If you drove your car across country without a GPS, you'd be lost, right? At least I would be. I don't know my way around the block without a GPS. So you need a GPS. Keeping track of your calories is going to kind of be like your GPS. It's going to give you a sense of guidance, give you like a starting point for how much you actually need to be eating. So we're going to start that off with keeping track of your calories, making sure that you're doing that on a consistent basis, making sure that you're always keeping track of it and having an idea of how many calories you're taking in. So make sure that you do that. That's really, really important. Again, that should be done all the time. But if you don't do it regularly, download one of those apps like MyFitnessPal or MyMacros Plus. There's so many different apps, calorie counting apps. Download any of them and start counting and tracking how many calories you're taking in, because that's going to really give you a better idea of where your body's at right now. This way, if you say, okay, I'm gaining weight, and you're eating 2,000 calories every day, then you're gaining weight because you're eating too much. At least you know that. It makes it cut and dry, because your body only sees calories. It does not see carbs, fats, or anything like that you eat. It just sees calories in versus calories out. So that's kind of the most important thing when it comes to keeping the weight off during the holiday. All right, so strategy number 2, okay, what we're going to do is I want you to go through a carb and fat fast. So what that means is, what time are you eating Thanksgiving tomorrow?
3.
Okay, I didn't even know that. So 3 o'clock tomorrow is when we're having Thanksgiving dinner. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be doing a carb and fat fast prior to that meal. So what that means is, in English, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to have a protein shake with just protein. Probably for lunch I'm going to have some type of protein, maybe with a vegetable. And then when it comes to Thanksgiving, that's when I'm going to have most of my carbs and fat for the day. So you want to make sure that you go through that carb and fat fast to save those calories for later in the day. Again, a lot of people fall into the misconception and start to think that, you can't eat carbs past 5 o'clock or anything like that. Your body doesn't understand time of day or anything like that. It just sees totals for the day. So what you need to do in that case is we're going to trick our body, not give our body those carbs and fats earlier in the day, and then you're going to have them later. So we're going to kind of save all those calories for that time. So that's the first strategy that we're going to do. So you're going to go low carb and pretty much no carb for the whole day until you get to Thanksgiving. So you kind of save up those calories and bank those calories. It's almost like you got to think of weight loss and body fat loss as like kind of like having a budget. So if I gave Laura $50 and I said, Laura, here, this is your money that you're going to eat. You're going to use this money to eat all day. If she goes and has breakfast right now and spends $49 on breakfast, she's going to go to the dollar menu at McDonald's for dinner because she's not going to have any money to buy anything later. It's the same thing with your body. If you eat all of your calories early in the day, you're going to have less later. So if we reverse that and kind of have less calories throughout the day and then have more at that sitting, your body will be more inclined to use those calories for what it needs and fit into your totals better. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And also why I recommend eating protein for breakfast, lunch, and maybe even one more time before Thanksgiving is because protein is extremely important when it comes to losing weight. As we said yesterday, protein is vitally important because protein is muscle, muscle's protein. So whenever you consume protein, you consume the building blocks of muscle. So you got to make sure you eat protein. Protein also has a twofold effect when you eat it. One, your body has to heat up a little bit to burn off those extra calories. And two, protein keeps you fuller longer. So if you go into the meal, into Thanksgiving, with more protein in your system, you're going to be a little more fuller and you're going to eat less. So actually one of the other things that I should have added to this is just like a little slash here. Slash protein shake. So what that means is, another one of the tricks that I usually use too, right before you go for Thanksgiving dinner. So Laura told me that we're eating Thanksgiving tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So what I'll do is I will have another protein shake at 2:30. Having that other protein shake at 2:30 makes me fuller. It'll prevent me from overeating. So that's why it's important to do that. So we'll reiterate this one again. So strategy number 2, carb and fat fast, eating only protein throughout the day and then having a protein shake literally a half hour before you sit down to have Thanksgiving dinner. My mom wouldn't be too happy if she knew that I was doing that, but you have to do that in order to stay lean because that's our goal, right? You want to maintain your health, you want to maintain your fat loss and muscle gains and all that stuff, so you have to make sure that you have these things in place. So that was the second strategy. The third strategy, get a good pump. Okay? Now what that actually means is make sure that you lift weights on Thanksgiving prior to the meal. So usually when you work out with weights, your body needs fuel to recover. Your body's going to need protein to help rebuild the broken down muscles that you did during training, and your body's going to need carbs to refill its fuel source. So it's always important to make sure that you exercise on Thanksgiving, but doing the right kind of exercise. Yesterday we talked about how cardio will make you fatter. So today we're going to talk about how working out with weights will make a huge difference as far as when your body utilizes the food that we eat. So by getting a good pump or working out, lifting beforehand, you're actually going to be able to utilize more of the food that you end up eating later for muscle gain instead of for fat storage. Hopefully that makes sense to most of you. So getting a good pump will make a huge difference, making sure you're doing the exercise that we talked about yesterday, lifting weights, staying big compound movements. Anything you want to add about that? Are you working out tomorrow?
Tomorrow's actually my rest day, but it just so happens that Thursdays always are. So it doesn't really, just because it's, yeah.
All right, well, I really don't know what to say. Sisters, that's what
I work out 5 days a week though, so.
In Laura's case, it's a little different, but you want to try to make sure that you get a workout. I'm going to be working out, okay? I'm going to be working out. I am the, yeah, I'm positive. I'm going to be working out. So, again, you want to make sure that you're lifting weights tomorrow before the meal. All right. So the next thing, strategy number 4, drink lots of water. Now, most of the time people complain about, oh, I gained weight after these big meals and, the salt and this, that, and the third. When you drink extra water, so your body is very, very smart. It's extremely, extremely smart in the things that it does. So when you have a certain amount of, you're used to a certain amount of sodium in your body and you have more than that, your body's going to say, okay, it's a little bit more than I'm used to, so I'm just going to regulate this by holding on to a little bit of water. So how we can trick your body into getting rid of that extra water, and these people on Instagram don't see you. There you go. We can trick your body into getting rid of that extra water by having more water. The more water you give to your body, the more water your body is going to expel. So if you have extra water tomorrow, your body will flush out those extra salt and extra, water weight that you may hold on to. Again, granted, if you don't overeat and utilize the tactics that I gave you the other 2 days with making sure that you're only having a little bit in a plate, and making sure you're only having one plate and not binging and not being a little piggy, that'll definitely help. But by having extra water, it's going to get rid of all those extra nutrients and all that extra salt and all that extra stuff that most people have tendency of holding on to after. So, drinking extra water. Again, you could do this so many different ways. If you're going to the gym and you're getting a pump, like some of us, when you do that, by having more water, then it'll be a good way to get more water. And again, by having 2 protein shakes, like I'm going to have one in the morning as soon as I get up, and then one right before the meal. I'm going to fill my protein shaker up. I mean, this is not my protein shaker, but if I put 2 scoops of protein in this is 35 ounces of water, and I drank this. It's a lot. That's a lot. It's going to be really, really full. And I'm going to get rid of all those extra sodium storage type thing that people get afraid about. So making sure that you drink extra water that day.
So if someone's already drinking a gallon a day,
I would recommend more. Yeah, 100%. So if I'm usually get a gallon in, tomorrow I'll try to get like a gallon and a half in. And again, I'll do that with doing things like this. I'll grabbing something big like this, I'll put 2 scoops of protein in it, and this will be what I'll have before the meal. And you're going to sit here and tell me that I'm not going to be full drinking all this water right before? Yeah. So my 5th strategy, again, I got to go back to my warning, right? My warning is, this is not for all the time. You can't utilize these strategies.
Besides this one.
Yeah, aside from number 1. You can't utilize all these strategies all the time because it's not healthy. It's not realistic. It's not a good way to live your life. It's not, but this is a strategy that you use. Strategies have their place in their time. So this is a good time to utilize this strategy when those extra calories are going to be around us, right? So the 5th one, you're going to limit your carbs and fat the next day. You're going to go protein only. You're going to kind of do the reverse. We're going to do protein only until about 5 o'clock, and that's when you're allowed to have your carbs and fat for the day. But you're going to have just the rest of the day from 5 till before you go to bed to have all, carbs and fats. That's when you're going to start putting them back in. Okay? Does that make sense? So then we're talking Friday, Black Friday now, right? We'll be shopping, we'll be doing whatever we have to do. In the morning, I'm going to get up, I'm going to have another protein shake. I will have lunch. I'll probably have protein and vegetables. I'll probably have another serving of protein and vegetables. And then later on in the day, that's when I'll probably have a serving or 2 of carbohydrates and some fat. Again, the reason why we do this is to kind of bank some of those calories that we might have overate yesterday. So again, your body doesn't lose weight in one meal. It loses it over weeks and months. So what happens is when you overeat one day, if you kind of make up for it the next day, it kind of negates that big jump. So that's what we want to try to do, is try to negate that big jump. So if you have if you're supposed to have 2,000 calories every day to lose fat, and you have 2,500, if on Friday we have 1,500, essentially we've brought that our calories back down to 2,000. And that's what happens when we go back to our strategy number 1 with keeping track of your calories. If you don't keep track of your calories, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But if you keep track of your calories, then you understand, okay, like I just said, I normally eat 2,000, Thanksgiving I'm going to eat 2,500, Friday I'm going to eat 1,500. And that'll balance that whole day out, and it'll act like nothing happened for your body. Again, you want to go into the holidays and the holiday season with a plan. Not planning will lead to failure. So having this all planned out and ready to go is good. I think this is definitely something that's recommended. Not a lot of people talk about these things and recommend these types of strategies, but the reason why we do that is because we've been down this road before. How many times has the holiday come and we've put on weight, take it off, and it's kind of like an endless cycle.
And we get cookies from clients, and we just put them away.
Temptations are always going to be there, but if you understand the basics of nutrition, you'll understand how all of this works, and you'll understand how to utilize and manipulate things in order to not gain weight during the holidays. So that's our 5 strategies to shed fat during the holiday season. Again, I'll recap them all for you again one more time. So, strategy number 1, keep track of your calories. Again, you wouldn't try to drive cross country with no GPS. You got to have an idea of how many calories you're consuming on a daily basis in order to understand where you have to go. Strategy number 2, you're going to go through a carb and fat fast until Thanksgiving. So you're just going to have protein all day and then a protein shake half hour prior to eating Thanksgiving dinner. Okay? That's the strategy. Then you're going to have all your carbs and fat for the day during that meal. So you're banking all those extra calories and all those extra servings of carbs and fat. You're going to get a pump. You're going to go to the gym and you're going to work out. Okay? You're going to go to the gym, you're going to lift weights. What type of movements should they be doing tomorrow?
Squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, pull-ups.
Yeah, all big compound movement stuff that we talked about in yesterday's video. Number 4, you're going to drink extra water. Remember, your body is very, very smart. The more water you consume, the more water you'll expel. The less water you consume, the more you're going to hold on to. So you got to make sure you drink extra water tomorrow to flush out all that extra salt. All right, and then the 5th strategy you're going to do on Friday, on Black Friday, you're going to limit carbs and fats the next day. You're going to go a protein only fast from the morning until about 5 o'clock the next day, and then you're going to have a serving or 2 of carbohydrates and fat. I promise you guys, utilizing this strategy during the holidays is going to make a huge difference in what that scale tells you. All right, so we have 2 screens going on here, so let's take some questions. I just want
to say, leftovers means leftovers, so don't go back for the leftovers on Friday or Saturday. Just forget about it, and that's it.
Yeah, I guess that should probably be another strategy on there. Not having the leftovers is extremely,
Just hand them out to people as they leave.
I know people that are having Thanksgiving on Thursday and then Friendsgiving on Friday. So
people had Friendsgiving already.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing. So you have to kind of do the same thing again. This is what I'm saying. That goes back to the warning. These things are not meant to be done all the time. These are just strategies and tactics that you could use to go forward from here. You can't use it all the time. It's just on these special occasions when it happens. So granted, if you have Friendsgiving next week, at some point you could probably do the same thing again. And in Christmas we're going to have a whole nother one because Christmas is 2 days back to back. So different strategies go for that one too. But yeah, definitely. So you want to check the questions there? We'll check on Instagram first and then we'll answer them because I can't see what I just see things.
Hello, bring back the podcast. Waving.
People are waving. All right, let's see.
Lorita, you are beautiful. Thank you, Clara.
Oh, the board's backwards again.
Love you, Mommy.
You get the idea. The board's backwards. So no beer till after 3. Yes, pretty much.
On the radio, today they said people usually consume 150 grams of fat during the time. Yeah.
Easily.
So even though that's why this is so important, because you do not want to hit 150 grams of fat. That's a lot to make up for.
I don't even eat that. That's like 2 days of my eating right there. And they say the average person gains like 8 to 10 pounds during the holidays. It's crazy.
The dark meat has a lot of fat, right?
Yeah, dark meat is fattier. Don't go with the dark meat.
Try to stay with the white meat. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to tell anyone how to eat. If you utilize these strategies, you'll be fine. That's the main thing, is utilizing these strategies. And then, like I said yesterday, actually on day 1 of this, 1 plate. You can have whatever you want. Just have it in 1 plate. Don't stack the plate high. Don't be a smart ass and fill the plate high. Just 1 plate with everything you want, and that's it. And I promise you, you will have great progress going into Christmas, going into the new year, and 2020, we're going to set it up to be a great year for you. So, that's the strategies, all right? Good luck tomorrow, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.